Look forward to hearing everybody and their takes. Excuse me, tank. Good morning to everybody that's in here already. I hope everybody's doing good. I saw the flames coming in, and if you're new to the show, when everybody's coming in, we do a wellness check. All right, so 5 flames mean you're feeling great. Anything more than that, you're feeling amazing, right? Anything less than that, there's things that we can improve on to this, in this day, and we want to come on and talk about it. Score prediction. Oh, don't do that to me. All right. The homer in me wants to say 49ers 27-23. The realistic person in me says Rams win 31-17. So hopefully hopefully it's the homer in me that ends up winning this game. But I got my guy Darius on first, man. Darius, what's good, bro? How you doing?
Oh man, top of the morning. How you feeling, man?
I'm feeling good, man. I woke up. I took a nice hot shower. It's kind of cold, man. Cold out here in Arkansas. Yeah, but took the kids to school. I'm feeling good, man. Feeling good. How you doing?
That's right, man. I'm blessed, man. Can't complain too much. I just got some. I want to say some positive words for the Niners.
All
I
right.
want everybody to know that as far as Trey goes and the situation. Well, let me say this first. Let me say this. All right. So I don't have in my mind that we go to the playoffs, and if this is true, because as you know, everybody seen last week, Kyle he got checked. I feel like he did because he started changing his tune with Matt Miyoko. Is that his name, Miyoko?
Yeah,
And
Mayoko.
he got in front of he got in front of Miyoko and changed his whole tune up, and all of a sudden he's all happy and oh, I love Brandon and I love where the rookies is going, yada yada yada. So okay, we get to the middle end of the season. They put the rookies in. I'm assuming they put the rookies in, right? How would a first year player feel about that? As far as like, okay, are they planning to make their exit now? Or are they feeling like, well, you know what? Let me preserve myself, not go on this field and play as hard because I'm not planning on coming back. I was sold a dream because they all came here thinking they was going somewhere, and it's looking like they're not. So, what do you feel like? Do you feel like their morale is kind of going to tank in a sense, or will they still be up and at it? Because now Trey's coming into play. So it's like, are they going to play for this brother or?
Yeah. So the guys and everybody understands, right, that the NFL is, everybody says it. The NFL stands for not for long, right? So regardless of what's going on with the 49ers, like, and you're a player on this team and maybe you were expecting to have a good season, there's the business element of it too. So you're, especially if
Facts.
you're on a 1-year contract, you're playing for your next contract because whether it's with the 49ers or another team, that's how you provide for your family. Like that's how you make your living. So you can't let the situation get you down in a sense of not going out there, not putting forward your best foot, not playing because maybe you see some other rookies out there. You're trying to play to the best of your ability because you want to sign next year with the 49ers or with the Falcons or potentially the Rams,
Right.
right? Say it's a game late in the year and the 49ers are playing the Rams, but 49ers are out of the playoff hunt. Well, maybe the Rams are going to be looking for the position that I play. If I go out there and I show out and I ball out, when it comes free agent time, they're going to be like, oh, we played against this guy. How does he fit in with what we do and potentially bring him on? So, I think everybody looks at, the 49ers and things like that, and people get upset by certain decisions. These guys understand that the business element of it, and this is how they provide for their livelihood. And the NFL could be going like that. It was for me. It was for a lot of guys that I know. You don't know how long you have in that game. So you always got to put forth your best effort. And if you don't, then you'll just be out the NFL soon.
Hell yeah. All right. And so what I say now is, next year we got the core players, Brandon and Debo, uh, Kittle and now Nick. So it's like we got Trent. So with that being said, the way I look at Trey, as far as what's been given to us through social media, through YouTube, and looking at the clips and all that, what I know from what I see, he gets better through all adversity. So even through this bullshit that he's going through now, I feel like it's just fueling the fire inside him. You know what I'm saying? And like just just from watching him play, like he gets better during the game. So it's like I really don't doubt that when he gets in, whenever he gets in, it's it's sky's the limit from there. You know what I'm saying? I really feel that way.
Yeah.
I don't think that I really don't feel like we wasted quote the future picks on him. I just feel like the whole Jimmy situation was mismanaged. Y'all could have took that cap space and y'all could have did something like what New England did and got rid of Jimmy and got three guys out of free agency or whatever the case may be. And
Yeah.
I know not as might want to hear this, but I still feel like we should just trade Kittle and Jimmy G as like a package deal or something, and we could probably get a player and a pick. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I'm just thinking outside the
Well,
box because it's like the truth of the matter is one of them gonna have to go. Either either Kittle or Bosa. Somebody's gonna have to get us a first round pick. I don't want Bosa to leave.
well, I don't think, and I don't think that, just kind of touch on some of the things you talked about, trading Kittle and Jimmy Garoppolo. You can't package both those guys because
Oh, okay.
that'd be too much of a cap hit to a team. So that's out the question. Now you could potentially trade them to,
Okay.
one guy here, one guy there. I don't think they'll move off of George Kittle though. Regardless. Now,
Right.
he's too good of a football player, and it's like, you do want to figure out, hey George, and you got to stay healthy, right? But and I also don't think that you want to trade George Kittle just for a draft pick, right? It's like, well, we want to recruit. Yeah, obviously he's a big staple in our offense and everything that we do, from the run game to the passing game. Sometimes pass protection, right? He does so much. He's a big play guy, and we're just gonna trade him to get a first round pick. You don't want to do that because you don't know what you're getting from the first round pick, right? And now we saw the same situation with Buckner. Now the
Right.
difference was Buckner that a salary cap, and they're trying to work that, and okay, we want to be able to free up, sign this guy, this guy, this guy. Maybe that's the case, but just for a draft pick, like I don't think the 49ers just like, oh, we're good with Buckner, and then somebody was like, hey, we'll give you a first for Buckner right now. The 49ers like, hell yeah, let's do it. I think they'd be like, man, hell no. Right? It's just like right now, if somebody was to offer the 49ers a first or even two firsts for Nick Bosa, the 49ers would say hell no. All right. So
Yeah.
from that aspect, I think George Kittle just stay healthy, right? I think that's the biggest thing.
Right.
Continue to be productive, continue to get him involved in games, be healthy, and moving forward, continue to kind of build around him. And I think you hit the nail on the head when you said the 49ers have a good core group of guys. They do. When you look at Debo, Ayuk, George Kittle, like that should be the group for the next 3 years. 49ers just have to figure out a way
Exactly.
to become more consistent and maybe add one guy to it, whether it's a speed guy or a big 6'4" guy. 49ers could definitely utilize that aspect of someone's game, but they don't have it right now. But Darius, I appreciate you coming on. I'm gonna get the next caller
Thank
on.
you. Hey, Niner fans, please continue to voice out your opinion too, man, because they listen, they pay attention, they pay people to do that, they pay people to get on here and figure out what's going on and how we feel, and if we need to boycott, because I know everybody's tired of this, mismanagement, man. But thank you though, bro. Thank you. Y'all have a good day, man.
All good, Darius. All right, you have a good
All right.
one. That's my guy Darius. We will see rookies in this game because of the injuries out. Hasty, McGlinchey, Norman, Fitzpatrick, Trey Sermon. I think he's playing. Oh, you're saying now the rookies. So Sermon, Lenore, Hufunga, Moore, Banks, Banks or Thomas. Yeah. So it sounds like Thomas and Lenore are suiting up for sure. I don't know if Norman is out. I think I saw something he was limited. He is wearing a no contact jersey, I believe. I didn't get a report from Saturday, which was typically like a walkthrough day or whatever. Don't know about that, but I'm interested to see if Norman and Fitzpatrick both don't go. Fitzpatrick's not going. He's been rolled out already. I'm excited to see some of these young guys play, but I think there's an area where you can sprinkle them in, right? If you guys remember back in 2017, 49ers did this with the Keller Witherspoon. Spoon didn't play. He wasn't active for a while. We talk about the Ambry Thomas thing. Witherspoon wasn't active, I feel like, for several weeks. And it wasn't until the Colts game he was active, and then he ended up getting a concussion. At that time, 49ers had Dante Johnson and Mantis, Rashard Robinson starting that cornerback. And they started working in their third-round pick, Keller Witherspoon, got the concussion, came back, ended up getting an interception. at the midway point in the season against the Philadelphia Eagles, and I believe Spoon started the rest of the way. And he played well. So Ambry Thomas, if they're not seeing it right now, sometimes you don't know until you just get him out there and just see like, all right, can you start making plays? We'll see. But I am excited to see some of these other rookies. I think Lenore, he'll play. Hufanga, definitely, because it sounds like Tavon Wilson is hurt. And obviously, Jaquiski Tart is still out. So Hufanga's going to be out there. Hopefully, you got Jimmy Ward back. But here we go. Bringing on the next caller. My guy, Ryan, a.k.a. Ricky Williams. What's good, man? How you doing?
What's up, man? Good morning, man. You guys geeked up for
Hey,
this night?
Ryan, where you from?
I'm from Mississippi.
Okay. Not far from me. Okay.
Yeah,
What
born and
part? Because
raised,
I
man, down.
live in southeast Arkansas. So I'm like literally like 30 minutes, 40 minutes from the border from Mississippi.
All right. You're Natchez, so I'm on the border of Louisiana, over there about 40 minutes outside of LSU.
All right, let's see. Border Louisiana, kind of by LSU. We'll see. I
Yeah,
mean, I know there's that whole bottom area. But anyways, what's
it's
on your
on the
mind, man? What's on your mind?
it's on the river, man. Man, hey, I wanted to get like, what was your opinion? I know this is Niner talk, but I just want to know what was your opinion when I think you might have said something when Cam played last night, and I said, man, I can't wait till we have that type of player that galvanized, man, the fan base and even the whole squad, man. Like, I think Trey got that type of experience. I would listen to a lot of interviews when John and Kyle was talking about if Trey Lance didn't play quarterback, he would be the CEO of some type of company. He has that type of leadership, that type of mentality to really lead and delegate, you know what I'm saying, whoever is around him. You know what I mean? And I think he has the type of presence once he's able to fully know that, hey, I don't have to worry about stepping on nobody's toes. I can come out here and lead me like I know I can.
Right. Yeah, I think a lot of that comes with confidence, right? And Cam Newton has never been short of confidence. He's been that polarizing figure going back to Auburn, right? I mean, and people don't remember, Cam Newton, he started off at Florida and got kicked out of Florida or whatever happened, right? Was still in the, the laptops or whatever that situation was. Ended up
Scam
going to
Cam.
Scam Cam. Ended up going to Blinn College, won a national title at the junior college level, then went to Auburn for 1 year. I think even when you look at Cam Newton in that 1 year at Auburn and just his demeanor and how he carried not just himself, but how he carried that team, a lot of it was just a persona. And that carried over to the NFL. And, a lot of people talk about Trey Lance, right? And his lack of throwing and lack of all that. Well, Cam Newton had 1 year of starting experience at the collegiate level. Obviously, he's in the SEC. Threw about the same amount of passes as Trey Lance. Didn't throw the ball a whole lot. They utilized his legs. They utilized all that stuff. But he was a guy that had big-time traits, and he went number 1 overall. And next thing you know, he gets in the NFL. His first 2 games, he throws for 800 yards, And it was like, where did this come from?
Yeah.
This wasn't the guy that was throwing the ball around a lot in college. So, but I think with Cam Newton, his mentality and stuff like that, he always carried himself as, I'm the best player on the field, and I do have that charisma. I do have that persona about myself that other people can, gravitate to. And that was one of the reasons why he felt like the Patriots couldn't have him as a backup quarterback to Jones.
To Matt Jones.
To Mac Jones. They were like, no, we can't have that type of polarizing figure and persona behind Mac Jones because people gravitate to that, and that can be intimidating for a young guy coming in like Mac Jones trying to find his way into the NFL. So I agree. We'll see if Trey Lance has that. But not a lot of people have that type of charisma about themselves like Cam Newton does. I like it, and clearly you do too.
But see, I think it's time though. I think it's time for us to have that type of next, generational type of talent. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
We've been deployed. We need that next 10-year franchise player to continue to be like a force multiplier for Debo, for George Kittle,
Right.
for Brandon Ayuk. Make things easy for him. You know what I'm saying? And then it also helps the defense as well. You know what I mean? So the defense kind of can get those turnovers. They feel a little more oomph. You know what I mean? To go out there, because our turnover ratio is terrible. You know what I mean? And
Right.
like to have those type of players to say, okay, I don't feel bad if I make this attempt to do something. I know that the offense got me, or I know that our morale won't go down to the dumpster. You know what I mean? We got to be able to keep that thing going, even during mistakes, not losing those confidence, or not losing your confidence if you do make a mistake. You know what I mean? And
Right.
that's why I think our team don't really get any turnovers, man. I think they're too afraid. Like they're like a pit bull on a real short leash. You know what I mean? And they're like, because they know once you mess up one time, they're afraid they're gonna be in the doghouse for the next 2-3 weeks. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And Kyle, the confidence has to come from someone, right? Like typically, with anything that you do in life, the more you do it, the better you get at it, the more confidence you're gonna have. You also need that person that has the high amount of confidence in themselves, even when things aren't going well, and they're able to, rub that confidence off on the other people, even when the situations aren't so great. So with the 49ers, that is one area where, and again, I don't want to get on Jimmy Garoppolo. I think Jimmy he's a solid quarterback. And I believe the 49ers can win tonight with him. But when the 49ers are reeling like they are right now at 3-5, it would be nice to see Jimmy Garoppolo instill confidence in the rest of his team, right? Like be that leader. Now it is tough for Jimmy because he's in a situation where everyone knows he's 1 foot in, 1 foot out the door, right? Where it's like, dude, you're not even going to be here next year. So I don't know if maybe Jimmy feels like, I don't want to say he's overstepping his boundaries, but I'm assuming that's a tough situation for Jimmy to be in, to try to come in and be that, like, come on, guys, let's go, let's do this. And people are looking at it like, man, you ain't even going to be here next year. Like, get the hell out of my face. Like, I'm not saying that's what's going on, but the 49ers need that. They need that person that's like that's going to motivate people, that's going to pick people up, even at a time when the 49ers aren't down. I see somebody right now say, Quan, this team doesn't have that Quan hype man. And that's what I'm getting to, like that.
Remember that?
Yeah, that
person
person
that. Remember last year we were lit. We had the flames going on. You know what I'm saying? Quan had the whole linebacker group get in the circle. They'll get their swag on. He's from New Orleans. I'm from Mississippi. You already know how we go down there. You know what I'm saying? We were like, oh, let's go. You know what I'm saying? We about to get this thing popping. I think the defense fed off that. We were like, okay, how you from? Hey, Pastor Troy, we ready. You know what I'm saying? Lil John, the East Side boy, like, hey, we about to get this thing cracking. We about to hit somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've been the thumper. And I think teams feed off that, man. It's football. It's a physical, it's a violent sport. You know what I'm saying?
And sometimes that comes from guys that you don't expect, like a Quan Alexander, or like Kenneth Garcia says here, Kendrick Bourne, and Kendrick Bourne, a lot of people didn't like that. Like Kendrick Bourne, it didn't matter what was going on. Kendrick Bourne, like, man, I'm turned up. I'm ready to go. And you see Kendrick Bourne right now, and it's not like his numbers are crazy with New England, but right now Kendrick Bourne had like 150 yards yesterday between rushing and receiving. He had like 150 yards and a touchdown. So just his infectious attitude, mindset, like that stuff, man, people are drawn to that. And sometimes if you lose that, then you got guys that just kind of get a little too down and don't have that person to pick them up. But Ryan, I appreciate you calling in, man. I'm gonna get the next caller on.
Let's go Niners. Peace out.
All right, let's get it. All right, here we go. Next caller. What's good?
What up, Croc? How you doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing, man? I know everybody looks forward to hearing what you have to say about what's going on with the 49ers right now.
Well, either way, I'm having a good morning. I hope everybody else that's listening is having a good morning. And the reason why I'll have a good night, regardless of win or lose, is just because what I think is going to happen, that's what I think will play out. So I think we will lose this game. But and I'm not asking for Jimmy to get hurt or anything like that. That's not what I'm asking for tonight, because I know me and you are a little different on the Jimmy side, and that's fine. But I think that me and you could both agree that the last game, Jimmy wasn't the problem. He really wasn't. I mean, I'm not saying that he doesn't deserve to be on the list of problems, but I think me and you could agree that no, we're not biased towards the situation. We could see that Jimmy's not number one on the list. Like, that's just ridiculous. The defense was terrible. Turnovers were, horrendous. There's no run game added. Play calling was sometimes inconsistent. There's a lot of things we could point to. But in this game in particular, I really do hope that we lose very bad tonight. And I just do, for the sake of the long-term success of this team. I need Kyle to be embarrassed tonight. I really do. And as far as like us beating the Rams, I don't think that that's realistic just because of the past 2 years. I think that that's just, us living on dreams at this point, that we're just going to miraculously beat them just because we beat them in the past. when they had Jared Goff or something like that, and I don't mind if people get mad at me. I really don't care. The thing is, at the end of the day, I need Jimmy to do bad so I can at least see Trey play these upcoming teams to start the development once and for all, because we've been waiting forever. And I think that the last two things that I talked about last time with you, I think will be present in this game. I think they will test Hufanga this game. And I honestly do hope that Hufanga learned he could prove me wrong too. That'd be pretty cool to see some guy that I've been crapping on, that he could just bounce back and show me that, you know what? No, I learned from my mistakes, dude. I'll be glad if I get proven wrong on the whole Hufanga take that I have of him lacking athleticism, because you did correct me there last time I called, and Roscoe was like on my ass about, no, he has talent. It's like, he does have talent. He does have talent. So, I really am going to be interested to see how Henderson does in this game, how Fred does in this game against him and the whole line. So there's a lot of things to look forward to, but I really do hope that we lose very bad. So Kyle can get, it's almost as if like a kid deserves to get his butt whipped after being loud in church and all that. That's how I think about it. Like, Kyle, you've been too comfortable, bro, and you're going to be the fault. And I hope Jimmy does bad in this game so I could get Lance on the field. I'm not going to say hurt, because that's a different thing, but I really do hope that people, whenever we lose tonight, don't get too frustrated. Understand that this is the progression of what needs to happen. And the Rams are still a Super Bowl favorite to me. I think they are, regardless if they just lost Woods. And the coincidence thing is that Woods got hurt in the first place. I was just like, wow, dude, like, how the hell did that just happen? But,
right.
How do you feel about our chances in this game?
I hear exactly what you're saying, and I want to kind of expand on that so people in the chat kind of understand, because I'm seeing the comments and people are like, some fan. And last year, right, it was clear where the 49ers were. Like, they just weren't a good team. At one point, they had, I don't know, what was it, 4 wins, whatever it was. They didn't have very many wins, and we were more than halfway through the season. Jimmy was always hurt, and I was like, this season is lost. 49ers need to draft a quarterback. They need to lose games. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you want to be in position to where you can get one of the top guys. That was kind of my thought process. And I was willing to, and again, what I say and me thinking like the logic and what I hope for while watching the game are two different things. I'm one of the most competitive people that you'll meet. And I feel like in any situation, like, I can win. I don't care how bad it gets. I feel like I can win. So when I'm watching the 49ers, I'm watching through those lenses of, we can win this game. Come on. Like, you know what I'm saying? But also I understood kind of need the 49ers to lose because we want the higher draft pick. And right now the season is a loss anyways. So I think that's what you're saying, right? Where you're like, look, this is what it is. Like, they've been dragging this thing out long enough. They've been dragging the thing out with Jimmy Garoppolo long enough. Kyle Shanahan alluded to the fact that if it wasn't for the knee sprain, Trey Lance would have started against the Colts. But when you have Jimmy come in and he played well against the Bears, he played well against the Cardinals, right? We came on, we talked about it, like, not the reason why the 49ers lost those 2 games or lost the last game. You can't just be like, well, we're just going to bench you regardless for Trey Lance. So what you're saying is we need to rip the Band-Aid off, right? And your version of ripping the Band-Aid off is that the 49ers need to lose, and they need to lose bad so that Kyle gets humbled and they just be like, all right, we're starting this process with Trey Lance now. And it would be a good time to start the process with Trey Lance because I don't have the schedule in front of me, but I know you have some teams, not saying that they're not good, because the 49ers aren't really a good team right now, but you have a more favorable kind of lineup right now, or schedule coming up. All right, so let's take a look a little bit at some of these games that the 49ers have coming up. You have just played Arizona, so you got Jacksonville next. Obviously, Rams tonight, but you got Jacksonville. 49ers can win that. You got Minnesota. 49ers can win that. You got Seattle. They just got shut out yesterday. You got Cincinnati. You got Atlanta. You got Tennessee. You got Houston. Like, this is a favorable schedule. So not saying that I want to see the 49ers lose tonight. I want to see them win. But I'm saying just to explain to everybody, I get what you're saying. You want to rip the Band-Aid off and get rid of this quarterback situation week to week, trying to see. It's like start playing towards the future. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think you pretty much hit it. Is just here's the thing: the fact I don't know what the comment section looks like right now, but if people are getting mad at me and stuff, that's fine. You know, you guys can do that. But here's the thing: you guys need to be humbled too. It's not just Kyle. It's not just John. I think the fans also need to get humbled and start respecting their enemies a little bit better, because it's ridiculous to think that we're just going to beat this team because of the last 2 years. That just sounds ridiculous. Like, they don't even have the same quarterback right now. And I get it that Woods is out, but they just got OBJ. And I'm not saying that I'm not saying that it equates the same talent right now. I don't know how OBJ is going to play. But at the end of the day, I think the fans also need to get humbled to understand that, no, you guys need to be realistic too. You know, I mean, let's just say if I didn't want us to win, didn't want us to lose, right? And I wanted us to win, I still would think the chances are slim. I just right. think that way, you know. And the thing is that the Lance development is more important than anything this year, because you ain't gonna win a Super Bowl, guys. And in order for Lance to get on the damn field, this team needs to get embarrassed tonight while America's watching. Okay, there's people that are gonna come home from work pissed off, might got into a fight with their wives. They're gonna sit down on the damn couch and they're gonna watch the Niners get their ass beat. And when that happens, it's not just our community of fans that are going to be saying that Kyle's a bad head coach. No, it's going to be all the NFL right now, because they're digging themselves into a deeper hole that they can't get out of. And they're going to have a flight or fight response to this whole thing. And that's what's the most important thing about it. Like, everybody can get mad at me for saying, no, I want us to lose. But this is so beneficial if we not necessarily just lose. I don't want to just say it that way. We need to lose, but it needs to be Jimmy as the poster boy why we lost tonight, in order for the most important thing to get done. And that's Lance's development, you know. And not also, if Lance plays, you're going to see more of Trey Sermon. Don't you guys want both those guys on the damn field once and for all? I get it that John just came out and said that, we're going to start using the rookies more after the fact that, you know, people are telling you guys to play them. You know, it's just ridiculous on people's expectations with this team. But yeah, either way, I'm gonna have a good night. You can prove me wrong, guys, and I hope that they lose very, very bad tonight. I really do, and I hope that Jimmy, the poacher boy, is the reason for it. But if we win, I'll just delete this video, Croc. Okay. So I don't really have nothing interesting else to say, because we beat this team to a shred. We already talked about the quarterback position. The rookies aren't being utilized. You know, we've gone through everything with Twitter Spaces, with call-in shows, with Grant Cohen making videos left and right. You got everybody. You know, you and BD Peacock are doing a great job over there. So, I mean, there's not really much else for me to say here other than, you know, guys, be realistic. And if you disagree with me, that's fine. But don't get triggered and just be ready to lose tonight. You know, that's just what it is.
Yeah, I hear you, man. I appreciate you coming on. I'm going to see if Brett Brooks, who's coming on next, if he agrees with you. All right.
All right. Late Croc.
All right. I get what he's saying, you know, and as fans, as faithful, we want to see the 49ers win. I want to see the 49ers win. What he's saying is, listen, I'm willing to sacrifice a win tonight to get, you know, for it to be like, all right, Kyle, stop with the BS, play some of these rookies, get them going, and let's turn this thing around with Trey Lance at quarterback and get things going in a positive direction, get some momentum going with him. I get what he's saying, but it is hard to say that out loud to people. Brett, you're on, man. Do you agree?
Yeah, yes and no. We need something to put a fire back in their bellies. And I feel we're just lacking that so much from everybody. The staples, be it Fred Warner, be it Jimmy, be it Kittle. Nobody has that fire in their belly, and I don't know how they can get it back.
So you look at the schedule, and my guy Chris put this up here, and he said the remaining schedule is favorable for a good team, but the 49ers aren't that. Do you agree with that? Like when you look at it, and you see teams like the Jaguars, the Vikings, the Texans, some of those teams that the 49ers have coming up.
I believe we are a good team. They've lost that fight. They've lost the fight, that fight inside themselves. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, for example, my son this past football season in high school, the team didn't have a good year, and my son he plays middle linebacker, and on the defense, the team goes where he goes. And there was a point where when he would meet a running back in the hole, instead of him knocking the running back backwards, he was still making the tackle, but the running back was getting that extra 2 yards because now he's falling backwards because you could see that discouragement because of the way the season is going, just taking a toll on him.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and I think I've been on teams that are losing, and I think one of the first thing that happens is you stop preparing the same way, right? Like early in the season, you have all this energy, you have all this excitement from week to week, and you're going out there, and the preparation is on 10. You take care of your body, all that's on 10, and you start losing those games, and you start seeing some guys not prepare the same way, not focused. Now, Kyle's gonna have to figure out a way to keep guys motivated and keep guys looking at the bigger picture, which is if the 49ers win tonight, right? And this is, the 49ers win tonight, and this would be a good win. This would be a great win for them. They'd be like a half game out of 7th seed. And his thing from there would be trying to, convince guys like, hey, we can be a good team if we continue to play like what we did tonight against the Rams that led us to winning. And if we do that, like we can beat anybody because the Rams are going to be looked at as a team that could potentially win the Super Bowl. 49ers, if you beat a team like that, and even if you start to, beat some of these other teams that you are supposed to beat, like my guy Chris said, good teams beat those teams on the remaining schedule. That's not the 49ers, but the 49ers win tonight and they start to believe they're a good team and you can beat some of those teams that you're supposed to beat, then, in theory, they should be a good team going into the playoffs. And Kyle has to figure out a way to motivate his guys and get them to believe that they can do that.
I think, unfortunately, I think that's one of the key aspects that nobody really accounted for, that in us missing Richard Sherman this year. Richard Sherman was great, not only at holding everybody else accountable, but he himself even held himself accountable to a higher standard. And I think the team is just lacking that all around. But I don't want to take up too much of your time, Croc. I love what you do. Keep up the good work, and let's stay faithful.
All right, man. I appreciate you. Appreciate you calling in. Stay safe on the road, man.
Thank you. I pulled over and parked before I got on to talk to you.
Oh, all right, for sure. Yeah. All right, man. You have a good one.
Good.
All right, here we go. We got Eric. Eric with a K. What's good, man?
Yes, sir. I'm doing good. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing good. What's on your mind? I know you wanted to come on. You were like, man, where's that link? I need to get on this show.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Thank you. I see a lot of people talking about what's going on this year. I think you hit the nail on the head earlier when you mentioned the schedule for the rest of the year. They do have a lot of winnable games. Obviously, this week is going to be tough against the Rams, but the Falcons, the Vikings, the Jaguars, these aren't like great teams. They're not invincible teams. So I don't really think that this year is over, but I just keep going back to the last couple of years and some of the decisions they made in the draft. And it's just really driving me crazy because I look at 2 years ago, first of all, when they drafted Brandon Ayuk and Javon Kinlaw. They could have had CeeDee Lamb and Trayvon Diggs with those 2 picks. Then you look at last year. They took Aaron Banks in the second round when they had Asante Samuel Jr. still on the board. Now, we've been talking for years about how they got a good defensive line. They have a good linebacking core, but they don't really have any playmakers in the secondary. We've been talking about this for years. And now what's happening this year, they're getting beat with pass interference calls. They're getting beat with blown coverages. The secondary is letting down the defense. And then that's one of the biggest problems in the whole team. And it's just bugging me because we saw this for years now. Like, we knew this was a problem. Everybody's been saying draft a cornerback. So they take Aaron Banks in the second round. And it's like, what are you doing? Like, are all the fans wrong? Like, did we just were we wrong that they needed cornerback, or did the team maybe overestimate their ability? Oh yeah, we'll just draft a couple guys later on. We'll take Ambry Thomas in the third. We'll take Lenore in the fifth. One of those guys is going to pan out. We're going to sign a bunch of guys in free agency. We'll sign Drake Patrick. We'll sign Josh Norman. One of those guys will pan out. I think that they didn't put enough of a priority on the cornerback position, and it's really hurting them now. Especially.
All right, so this is my philosophy, and this is coming from someone that, I played corner. I love corner. I love good cornerback play. All right. The way the NFL is kind of headed right now, it is making it harder and harder to just be a really good corner in the NFL. So like you brought up Diggs, right? And I think Diggs is having a tremendous year. The biggest thing that Diggs has going for himself is he has 8 interceptions. I think that's more takeaways than the entire 49ers defense combined, right, for this year. But Diggs, there are times when Diggs has gotten beat as well throughout this year. He gave up a 75-yard touchdown against Kendrick Bourne. He got beat by Thielen a couple of times. He's had pass interferences downfield. So I think right now, with the way that the NFL is going, if you just have a guy that's going to take the ball away, that's what you need more so than anything. Who's the playmaker? It's not even so much on a play-to-play basis, because if you really look at the 49ers cornerbacks on the outside, aside from like the pass interference that we've seen in a couple of games this year, they haven't really been like that big of an issue, the corners, right? The biggest issue to me is up front and not having that consistent pass rush. And that's what made the 49ers good in the Super Bowl runs that we've seen in recent years, whether it was 2011, 12, 13, whether it was 2019. It wasn't so much that the 49ers had great back end players or great corners. It was, hey, we have a great front, and they're going to put pressure on opposing quarterbacks, and that's going to lead to, errant passes, throwing before you want to. 49ers held Jared Goff one time to 50 yards passing. Like, it was the pass rush that was really helping. So I agree in the sense of I understand where fans are going. Like they want that corner, but corner is so hard to play in the NFL right now. I would personally build my front and kind of work front to back. You look at some of the other areas of 49ers are kind of getting beat right now on defense. A lot, the linebackers in coverage, some of the safeties, right? You get Hufanga, then you get Hufanga caught up in space. So to me, the 49ers have to do a better job getting to the quarterback. I think if they can do that, everything else will start to play out. Until they do that, you're going to have some of these other issues. But when the 49ers were Super Bowl runs, the corners, they were never great. You know what I'm saying? Like Sherman had a good year, but they were never great. Like really,
they were getting those turnovers.
Think about it right now.
Like you said with the pass rush.
Right. So that's what you need. I think more than anything, the 49ers lack the takeaways. And I said, Diggs, 8 interceptions right now. Like that's obviously a historically great start to a season, but like that's what the 49ers are missing, more so than just someone who's a shutdown corner. I hope that makes sense. Because it's a tough position to play in the NFL right now, how they spread everything out. You can have a Jalen Ramsey. The biggest thing, and I talked about it earlier with Ramsey, the best thing that Jalen Ramsey has going for him is on any given play, he can affect the game. But even when you have that shutdown guy, the teams are spreading everything else out, and you can go elsewhere, right? You can throw it to George Kittle elsewhere. You can throw it to if you have all these other receivers, like it's tough, but you need that front that's going to continuously bring pressure. I hope that makes sense.
No, I understand. I agree. I think the lack of turnovers, and it hurts the offense too, because you're not giving your offense any short fields to work with. It affects the whole team. Turnovers like that can change the entire momentum of the game. And I think that one of the reasons they were so successful in 2019, they had a bend but don't break defense, and then they would create turnovers. So you had to march down the field, and you had to avoid a turnover, and that was difficult. Now, without really getting those turnovers, your bend but don't break defense, you're just going to keep bending until they get to the end zone. I mean, it's the problem is, it seemed to me like in 2019, they would try to set the other team up, force them to have to go a 10, 12, 15 play drive without making any mistakes. And if they made one mistake, they would force a fumble or they would get an interception, they'd turn the ball over. And I think this year they're not really getting those turnovers because they haven't really prioritized the cornerback position. I mean, you look at Javon Kinlaw. At the time, I would have played Eric Armstead at defensive tackle. So when you're drafting Javon Kinlaw, he's basically your second defensive tackle, and you're taking him in the first round. Now, you got to prioritize what you're drafting in the NFL. You got to look at it quarterback, edge rusher, cornerback, left tackle, wide receiver. These are your 5 most important positions. Why are you drafting your second defensive tackle in the first round when there are more important positions like cornerback where you don't really have a clear-cut starter for the next 5 years? I mean, I understand they still had Richard Sherman at the time, but they didn't really have like any long-term solutions at the cornerback position. So I think, there's been a little bit of, their drafting hasn't really prioritized. I mean, you look at Aaron Banks, again, right tackle. Where does not even right tackle, right guard. Where does right guard rank on the list of the most important positions on your team? Do you really need to be drafting right guard in the second round? Or is that something maybe you could look at a little bit later in the draft?
Yeah, I think the teams that are doing it right with guard, unless it's Quentin Nelson, but the teams that are doing it right with the guard position, they're drafting them 3rd, 4th, 5th round and getting guys that are able to come in and play. Guard is almost, especially right guard, is almost like a running back, right? Like, I don't know why the 49ers took a running back in the 3rd round, unless he's just special, which Trey Sermon was never that. He was good. I think that's where some of the 49ers philosophy with drafting is a little weird.
It doesn't really
I get
seem
what
to
they're
line
trying to
up
do with the
like
guard, but not conventional. I don't think you have to take them there.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to line up with the conventional thinking with the way that most teams are drafting now in the NFL. Like I said, it's usually first 2 rounds, usually quarterback, left tackle, edge rusher, wide receiver, and cornerback. And instead, like you said, they've been going defensive tackle when they already had Eric Armstead ahead of them on the depth chart at that position. They've been going right guard, running back. These aren't your most important positions. So I think that the drafting philosophy has been a little upside down. And that's the problem, because you still have your stars like Nick Bosa, Fred Warner. Devo's been having a great year, but it's a 53-man roster. The best team, top to bottom, is going to win. And I think the bottom half of that roster is really suffering because they haven't really been prioritizing the most important positions in the draft, in my opinion.
Right, I agree. All right, Eric, I'm going to get the next caller, and I got my guy Amin coming on, man. I appreciate you calling in, E.
All right, bro. Thanks for taking me.
All right. Here we go. We got Amin the Dream. What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Why aren't you in school?
I jacked up my knee yesterday playing football, so I'm taking it easy today.
They put you on IR, huh?
Yep. I was recording.
So
in my league, that we're playing in, I play safety and I play quarterback, and I was playing safety yesterday. And I was this guy was running by me, and I was playing safety, and my other safety pretty much ran right into me, and I jacked up my knee. So we'll see how bad it is.
You gotta put some ice on that. You gotta do some rehabbing around the clock, so you can get
I
back.
already put 2 ice packs on. I
healthy.
put one last night. I put one this morning. So hopefully I'll be back, and hopefully I'll be back soon.
All right. So what's on your mind, man?
Well, all over Twitter, I hear Mac Jones, he's doing good. I understand that, but people say Mac Jones should have been the pick at number 3 after what we've seen right now. Do you agree with that? Because I've heard that all over Twitter. Niners should have taken Mac Jones at 3. Niners should have taken Mac Jones at 3 because of the success that we're seeing right now of Mac Jones with Bill Belichick. But do you agree that they should have taken Mac Jones at 3?
No. And I won't be able to use that hindsight until 3 years down the line, 2 years down the line. Like, if at some point it's like, oh man, like Trey Lance just can't play, then you could be like, maybe they should have taken Justin Fields, or maybe they should have taken Mac Jones. But with what we're seeing right now, and I had some tweets that some things I tweeted out yesterday about Mac Jones, and a lot of other people kind of had the same sentiment. We're kind of expecting him to come to the league and play well. He's coming from an offense that used similar concepts to the NFL. He was a very efficient passer in college. He did a lot of things extremely well. The way I look at it, this is how I look at it, man. It's like a vehicle, right? And I know you're what are you, 13 years old?
14.
14? All right, so you're not driving yet. But the way I look at it is vehicle, and a lot of people in the chat, they can understand this. I have a Dodge Durango, limited edition Dodge Durango, right? Where I have the backup cam, the DVD in dash, I got the Hemi engine, all that stuff, right? And that's awesome. Do you need it? No, right? So Mac Jones, to me, he's the standard version of my vehicle. It works just fine. You can get from point A to point B. You can do a lot of the same things. Now, having some of these different aspects to my vehicle, having a DVD player, sometimes when we go on long drives, my kids want to watch a movie. I can put a movie on. I think that's why people take some of these quarterbacks that have higher, athletic ability, bigger arm, more athleticism, all those things. It's just the added value, right, to your vehicle. That's what it is. So that's not to say Mac Jones isn't good, right? And I think that's where people were messed up. They were looking at it like, oh, Mac Jones, he's not good. He's not good. Like, no, that's not the case. Like, dude is really good. He does a lot of things very well, right? And you can win with him. And Alabama did. They had one of their best years ever with him. But if I can get something with a little bit more added features, I'm gonna do that if I have the opportunity. Now, if I don't, right? If my credit is bad or I don't have the down payment, then I'm gonna get the standard vehicle, and I'm gonna be just fine with the standard vehicle. The Patriots, they didn't have the credit, they didn't have the money down, right? They were picking at 15. So they still packed, they stayed there. Mac Jones fell to them. They did a good job, and they've done a terrific job of building an offense that works for him. He's made good throws. He does a lot of things very well. And right now, they started off rocky. He's been a part of really turning that thing around. Now the defense plays extremely well. Their run game is going crazy. Their running backs are catching the ball. There's a lot of other things as well. But Mac Jones is playing good football, and I think, he's in a great position to do so. Now, when you think of a team taking Mac Jones over somebody else, right? And I talked about this with I tweeted out being funny. I was like, oh, imagine taking Trevor Lawrence over Mac Jones, right? And I was just being funny. But would Mac Jones be able to do the same thing he's doing with the New England Patriots, with that coaching staff, with those guys around him, Hunter Henry at tight end? Will he be able to do that with a guy like, with a team like the Jaguars, right? Could Trevor Lawrence swap places? Matter of fact, I would look at it like this. Right now, if the Patriots had a chance, would they swap quarterbacks with the Jaguars? And what would Mac Jones look like as the Jaguars quarterback, where every time I look, Trevor Lawrence is running for his life? You know what I'm saying? So circumstances matter. I think obviously the 49ers, I think that would have been a good place for Mac Jones. But no, I like what I've seen from Trey Lance. I'm curious to see him, just build on that. So that's a long-winded way of saying, no, I'm good with Trey Lance at quarterback, and I don't think the 49ers should have drafted Mac Jones. Although I thought Mac Jones would have been good for the 49ers. And if he had went to the 49ers, I tweeted this out. I felt like, and this was at the time, pre-draft, if Mac Jones gets drafted to the 49ers, he'll be Rookie of the Year. So I did like him.
Well, I felt like Mac Jones was the most pro-ready quarterback coming into the draft. But with the Niners, where they were sitting, if we didn't trade up and we had the 12th overall pick and we wanted to go get Mac Jones, I would completely be fine with that. But since we had the 3rd overall pick, I would go get. We drafted Trey Lance, and I'm fine with that pick. But like when people say, "Oh, we should have drafted Mac Jones at number 3," it's like we haven't even seen Trey Lance play. He's only had one start against a great Arizona Cardinals defense. He's only had one start. So instead of saying that so early and saying, you know what, we should have gone Mac Jones because he's been playing good, let's see how well Trey Lance plays. You're not giving him time. He's only played one football game in his career, one start in his career in the NFL. So like, I'm not gonna make that assumption until I see him play for a couple of years, and then we'll see. Like, if he's playing good, then great. But then if he's not playing good 2 or 3 years down the road, then yeah, we could say, you know what, Mac Jones was the right pick, and I definitely agree with you on that. And I mean, if Trey Lance, let's say he does play, and he's playing well, then great. We're not going to have that Mac Jones comparison. But like, I feel like Trey Lance, he hasn't had that opportunity to come in and play and start. And once he gets that opportunity, depending on how well he plays, then we can make that assumption of, you know what, Mac Jones is the right pick, or Mac Jones, we should have stuck with Trey Lance. But I mean, Trey Lance has all the tools and everything to be a successful NFL quarterback. He has the work ethic. He's gifted athletically. So I mean, I'm not going to say, you know what, Mac Jones is the right pick just based off how well he's playing in New England, because Trey Lance hasn't gotten the opportunity to play.
The fact that you're able to compartmentalize that as a 14-year-old, and a lot of these adults can't, that's crazy. You said it perfectly there. And that's not to say that Trey Lance is going to be this great quarterback, but you're like, just give it time, right? Ultimately, that's what you're
Yep.
saying. Like, we don't know yet, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like he hasn't even
Right.
he only had one start. So like if he played the same amount of games as Mac Jones and he started off in the beginning of the season like Mac Jones, then yeah, you could make that comparison, but still like even if Trey Lance was struggling this year and he did play, rookies take time to develop. Like I don't get why we've seen the Patrick Mahomes, we've seen the Justin Herberts. Those you don't see those guys every single day. Like you don't see rookies like that. We've seen Tua struggle. We've seen other rookie quarterbacks come and struggle coming into the league. So rookie quarterbacks take time to develop. Now Justin Herbert and Patrick Mahomes, those guys are just special. But even Patrick Mahomes, he sat on the bench his first year and learned behind Alex Smith. So
Man, I'm proud of you, man. I'm gonna get you off of here because we're about to get out of here soon. But I appreciate you calling in, and thank you for being mature amongst a lot of immature adults.
appreciate
Crazy.
it.
All right, man. Hey, and do your schoolwork or something, man. Like, and obviously, rehab that knee. Your team needs you. You got to get off IR. Appreciate you for calling in, man.
All right, man. Peace.
How is a 14-year-old able to have that takeaway, but the adults act like little kids about it? I mean, and that was the correct take. That was the correct take. Like, dude, we've seen Trey Lance start one game. How can you, after one game, say, and it was one game that he did not play bad? Obviously, you want more points, but how do you take away from that one game that, 49ers should have taken Mac Jones? Come on, man. Amen. Great job articulating that. Cohen says Kyle lost the locker room because of Doghouse. I wouldn't say that Kyle Shanahan lost the locker room because of Doghouse. One, I don't know if Kyle Shanahan has lost the locker room. But if he did, it wouldn't be because of the doghouse. It would be because you're not winning. That would be if the 49ers are winning, nobody cares about a doghouse. It's like, dude, just get your stuff together. But when you're losing and those things happen, then it kind of starts being a little weird. It starts being a little weird. So I should have asked Amin for his to subscribe to his channel. Amin has a YouTube channel. Yeah, that was good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff by Amin. That's what's up. And it looks like people enjoyed your segment on here. Think Kyle Shanahan lost the locker room. Can't Cone lost Kyle. Many fans on Twitter fall victim to being prisoners of the moment. Definitely. Here we go. Say what you want about Ayuk. He's playing better since being called in. Is Ayuk playing better, or has he just been given more targets? Remember, he was out there. He just wasn't getting targets. So is he playing better, or is he just getting targets to be able to be more productive? Like we saw him, what was it, week 3, week 4 against the Packers? He made some plays. He caught 4 passes. He scored a touchdown on Jair Alexander. Worked Jair Alexander in the end zone. Wasn't he in the quote unquote doghouse? Or they were still talking bad about him after that. So I don't think it's all of a sudden he's playing better after being in the doghouse. I think it's just he's always been able to play good. It's just maybe the 49ers coaching staff and GM are being a little too, I don't want to say they're being too critical. I don't know what's going on a day-to-day basis, but clearly he's had that potential and ability to do those things. Matter of fact, he would have been in the doghouse last year if they would have had healthier receivers. Ayuk would have been in the doghouse last year. They didn't like some of those things. Kyle said it. If he had guys to play over him last year, he would have played those guys over him. And that was when he had one of the better rookie years since Jerry Rice or whatever it was. He had a terrific rookie year, right? Everybody would say that terrific rookie year, expected him to be wide receiver 1 this year. And he would have been in the doghouse if they would have had healthier receivers. So is it really the doghouse why he's playing better? Why is the line only -4.5 for the Rams tonight? Because the 49ers are at home. So if it was in LA, you could add 3 points to that, and that would be 7.5, which is a pretty large spread. All right. Here we go. So yeah, man. I appreciate everybody that's been in here. All 240 of y'all, go like right now. Hit that like button. If you like the show, subscribe, all that good stuff. Underdog Fantasy, I'm getting into it tonight. Underdog Fantasy, promo code Crocky. We're going to do some over-unders. Is Deebo Samuel going to hit the over or the under in his yards that he's predicted to get? I can't wait to watch it. I think at halftime, I'll join guys on my Twitter Spaces. I typically go live on that. I typically don't go live after the show. My guys from 49, 365 go live on this channel. All right, but Locked On 49ers, go listen to that right now. Locked On NFL Draft, listen to that as well. New episodes out. And I appreciate everybody that's in here. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Hope you have a blessed day. Go Niners. Peace.